Hello and welcome to a slightly damp Aberdeen station, where today I'm going to be taking Britain's longest train, cross-country, from here all the way down to Penzance in Cornwall, and I'll be doing it in first class. This is a bucket list item for many train enthusiasts, and today I'm attempting the journey. We're about 41 minutes delayed, covering a track distance of about 770 miles across diverse landscapes from northern Scotland to southern England, calling at 41 stations along the way. And as usual, I'll be assessing the comfort level, amenities, complimentary food and drink, general ambience, and most importantly, judging the value of the service over travelling in standard class. Let's get going. And of course, right after I finish the intro, it stops raining. Anyway, let's go find our train. So cross-country do services pretty much all over the country, as the name implies. This core route is from Edinburgh all the way down through places like Newcastle, Leeds and then Sheffield, before going on to Birmingham, and then from there you can get trains all the way to Penzance, Plymouth, Bournemouth, even goes up to Manchester, along to Cardiff. But they do run Britain's longest train as well, which is the 8:20 departure from here in Aberdeen. It's scheduled to take 13 hours and 15 minutes, which is a pretty long time for a train, but I can already see a problem. That 8:20 does not say Penzance, that says Plymouth. This is an issue that I have actually discovered with this train. So obviously when I've been planning this, I've been checking out the reliability of the trains that I'm getting, and I've only got like 9 days worth of data now, but it has not made it all the way, the full journey, for 7 out of those 9 times. So last week on Monday, it made it, it was on time, it arrived on time. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it started in Edinburgh, made it all the way to Penzance, but the bit from Aberdeen to Edinburgh was cancelled due to issue with the train crew. It didn't specify what the issue was. Friday, it terminated short at Birmingham. This week, Monday, it went normally, but Tuesday, Wednesday, and now Thursday, it's terminated short at Plymouth due to issues with train crew, which I think there's a lack of train drivers. But I only have the one opportunity to ride this, so I'm going to be taking that now. Gotta say that this is a really nice station, isn't it? Looks like they've recently done it up. It's pretty nice. Train is here. It looks like first class might be at the front. This looks like standard. It's a 5-car Voyager train, which I believe is known as Britain's most hated train, which I beg to question. What about Class 150? They aren't very good. There are definitely worse trains than a Voyager. Now, this is weird. Cross-country don't do standalone seat reservations, at least not normally, but I checked the seat map and it looked like it was pretty full. So I messaged him on Facebook and he reserved a seat for me. And I got to choose which one I wanted, which is brilliant. It's often worth just reaching out, isn't it? There's no point me even trying to get my bag up on the overhead rack, because I already know it's too small. Rock and roll. The engines are started, that was really wobbly. So let's have a look around this seat then. As you can see, there's a mix of both tables and airline style. You've also got a single airline seat like I have. You also got over there double airline seats with the first table that flips up. It looks like there's a plug socket at every seat. You get one socket between two, however I have one socket down here all to myself. You also have a window blind here. That window blind's a bit stiff and squeaky. There's also reservation things, and although I did say I have a reservation, they're not showing, everything showing is available. I just think they haven't downloaded it yet. I just heard the guard talking to another passenger about that, so. And we also have reading lights. Yeah, I have a fairly large table, which has my bag on it, so let's take that off. The leg room's pretty good actually, but obviously I've limited mine by putting my bag there because it doesn't fit overhead. decided to leave the luggage racks for people with larger bags, just because I'm kind. All that's left is to recline my seat and enjoy the journey. As we pull out of Aberdeen, here's a closer look at the full route we'll be taking today. Starting from Aberdeen, we will travel south following the coastline, calling it Stonehaven, Montrose, Arbroath and Dundee. There we cross the River Tay into the county of Fife. We then cross the Firth of Forth into Edinburgh. We'll continue along the East Coast Main Line, crossing into England at Berwick-upon-Tweed, and then onwards to Newcastle. At York, we'll travel west towards Leeds, and through the Midlands towards Birmingham. Continuing south via Bristol, we'll end up in Devon and our final call today of Plymouth. But of course the train is supposed to carry forward into Cornwall with a final stop of Penzance, originally scheduled to arrive at 21:36 after a total travel time of 13 hours and 16 minutes. But as you'll see, my actual journey took much longer than this. Okay, I've just been handed a cup of tea in a 100% cardboard packaging. So we've been given a choice of biscuits. I chose some Viennese Wells. So I've noticed down here there seems to be a plug-in for what is presumably a long forgotten in-train entertainment system, like a radio maybe, plugged in. Nothing. I remember these from flights in the 90s. I took one flight in the 90s when I was younger, and I had one of these with 12 channels on it. Only time I've ever seen it, because I didn't take many flights when I was young. Didn't even know these trains had that. Shortly after our departure from Aberdeen, the complimentary food service was started. So I've just been handed a bacon roll. I have the choice of that or porridge. I don't like porridge. So bacon roll, HP sauce. This was the only sauce on offer today because they've run out of ketchup. The bread's a little chewier than I would like, but it's pretty good. We continue down the scenic Scottish coastline, picking up more passengers as we go. The crew on this leg of the journey were amazing, so happy and friendly. The train had got pretty full by the time we'd left Dundee, but luckily for me there was a seat available on the opposite side of the train, so I can get a wonderful view of the 137-year-old Tay Bridge. But now it's time for that YouTuber travel review staple, the Loo Review. Here's the Loo. So we have a nice, almost full-length mirror and a smaller mirror. Another Loo. Place to put your naughty baby, change it for a better behaved one. It was working. Dries warm but doesn't blow very much, so I don't think that's going to dry my hands very well. But it looks really clean and tidy. We're actually about 2 hours into our journey already, so that's pretty good. I'm going to go use the facilities. Go away. I'll give you a bit of a journey update. So we just had a bit of a delay at Kirkcaldy. We're about 20 minutes late now, which is caused by a problem with the train in front. But that's fine, I think, for this journey because there's a lot of padding built into this. I think it's partially because it's such a long journey and it travels on many different lines. So, like for example, there is a planned 15-minute wait at Edinburgh. So we've obviously just eaten into that wait and we'll have to pick up time as we go along. There was a lot of rain last night, and there was flooding in the Carlisle area. And although this train doesn't go through Carlisle, we are interacting with a lot of trains that do. So all of the trains, as far as I can see, that are going south from Edinburgh through Carlisle are cancelled. So there's probably going to be quite a lot of people getting on this train who were going to go and get a different train, which probably means this train's going to get very full. But yeah, I reckon there's going to be like standing remotely once we get to Edinburgh.
Currently the train is running approximately 21 minutes late, that's 21 minutes late, and this was due to a train having a fault in front of us in the Kirkcaldy area. The station stops are Haymarket, Edinburgh Waverley, Birch-upon-Tweed, Plymouth, Newcastle, Durham, Darlington, York, Leeds, Wakefield, Westgate, Sheffield, Derby, Burton-on-Trent, Birmingham New Street, Chelmsford Spar, Bristol Parkway, Bristol Temple Meads, Taunton, Tiverton Parkway, Exeter St David, New Abbott, Totnes, and due to arrive at Plymouth at 19:47 this evening.
As I suspected, very busy at Edinburgh. There are probably people who are displaced from Avanti coming onto this train, and they're all trying to sit in first because they've got first class tickets, but there's a fully reserved, and so they can't sit here, and the train manager is sending him all somewhere else. A lot of very disgruntled customers, but he's handling it quite nice actually. He's very apologetic about it and stuff, doing the best in a difficult situation. I just feel sorry for those people.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Declan.
We're coming into Berwick now. We were told there was a speed restriction, which meant we would have been slower getting here, but we arrived here without the restriction, so still 15 minutes late, but that's the 15 minutes we occurred earlier in the journey, not further delays. Anyway, got another cup of tea and a cherry bakewell. Lunch is served. Choice of sandwiches, have raffle chicken, bacon, lettuce and tomato. And another packet of crisps. I'm not quite sure how to get this out the packet. This bread kind of smushed together. I'm going to have to rip into it. It's fine. It's acceptable. The train got even busier at Newcastle, which is a trend that you'll become all too familiar with as our journey progresses.
The slightly busier than normal service today, with widespread cancellations and issues, particularly on the west coast. So please do make sure all seats are available for people to sit in.
I've just realised I haven't had a single seat safe sorted. It's quite refreshing actually.
Appreciate there's been a lot of disruption today, so apologies for this. Hopefully I spoke to as many people as I can about any help again, any questions, team on the support now. So now we're arriving into York.
Oh, I don't envy anyone getting on here. I feel like there were too many people there. I've been in that position before when you're the one that has to get on the train and there's literally no seats available. You just have to find somewhere to spend the time. Tables are turned on. The crew were really good at bringing the refreshments trolley around. I was kept well fed and watered throughout the journey so far. By the time we reached Leeds though, there were so many passengers on board that people were actually standing up in first class. But the train manager made all of them leave and go into standard class. There were even a couple of first class passengers who held first class tickets who couldn't get a seat and were relegated back to standard class, or more precisely, standing up in the vestibules.
Service is extremely busy. If you can ask all passengers that stood in vestibules if you can make your way into the carriage.
7 hours into the journey now. It's 15:18. So like 6 hours, 58 minutes, but who's counting? More tea, more crisps, plus counting the amount of tea I've had today now. I'm sort of somewhere between Sheffield and Derby. This train is so busy. It's been to the loo. There's loads of people standing in the vestibules. Because there's not enough seats on this train, it's not long enough. The 5-car train is not long enough for this journey. I think this central section, sort of south of Newcastle, definitely needs to have longer trains. I think they can get away with it north of Newcastle, maybe you can stretch it north of Edinburgh. You can't do it south of Newcastle, it doesn't work, it's not enough. I'm actually finding the seats quite comfy. You normally know if it's bad seats if you're wriggling around trying to find comfort, but this is fine for me. I'm not used to recline function too much because I've been working, but I'm sure when I get towards the end of the journey I probably will. Anyway, gonna drink my tea, eat my crisps, edit a vlog. Cheers. Be approaching Birmingham New Street now, a station that I really don't like. See link for why.
Service is now approaching to Birmingham New Street. If you are leaving the service here, please take one last look around to make sure you have all your personal belongings.
Also, just looking at real-time trains, seem to have made up the time that we've lost. We are scheduled to have a 9-minute stand here. Correction, 8-minute stand. But even so, we're arriving pretty much on time. Maybe like 1 or 2 minutes late, but what's 1 or 2 minutes between friends, eh? One thing this trip taught me was never be optimistic, especially when it comes to Birmingham New Street and cross-country trains. Birmingham strikes again. We should have departed here about 15 minutes ago, but we're still sat here. They haven't really told us what the issue is.
Apologies for the delay we're currently experiencing. We are currently just waiting for an incident to be cleared as a call from the police. Hopefully we'll see you very shortly. Thank you.
7 minutes later and we were finally on the move again.
We are about 20 minutes behind schedule. I do apologise for this. Unfortunately, we did have an appointment that the police were dealing with for it. So hopefully we'll make up a little bit of time. We did have 15 minutes.
Okay, I'm back in the bedroom. I'm whispering because there's people outside and I don't want to seem like I'm a weird person talking in the bedroom. It's kind of a bit messy. But to be honest, it doesn't look too bad. I've definitely seen worse.
As I enjoyed another drink, this time lemonade, I was blissfully unaware that this would be my last drink on board, because it was announced that after Bristol Temple Meads there would be no complimentary service at all for the remaining 2 hours of the journey. And to add insult to injury, we were getting more and more delayed, finally pulling into Bristol about 40 minutes behind schedule. I'm just pulling into Bristol Temple Meads now, almost at the 10-hour mark of the journey. Energy levels are flagging and I still have several more hours to go. So obviously we've known from the start that this is only going to go as far as Plymouth. So I was looking at now what route options I have available, now that we sort of know roughly when we're going to arrive. And when we get to Plymouth I'll be able to change onto a Great Western train, which will get me into Penzance at 22:24, which is 14 hours and 4 minutes after I left. So the longest train journey in the UK has gotten even longer. means I've got another 4 hours to go. I'm gonna eat the sandwich that they gave me. You brought this round like an hour ago, but I wasn't hungry then. It's a tuna and cucumber sandwich on a seeded roll. It's almost 7 o'clock and we're coming into Taunton pretty soon. They've already told us there's no more catering. But I still have my biscuits that I picked up this morning. I didn't want them for breakfast, but I still have them, so...
Good evening, our next calling point shortly will be Taunton. We have arrived at Taunton approximately 48 minutes late. I do apologise for any inconveniences they cause.
And if, like me, you hate being late for things, did you know that if you subscribe and turn on notifications, you'll get an alert every time I drop a new video? It's true! Try it now so you don't miss the next episode when I'm travelling with ScotRail in first class on their HST trains. Right now though, I'm standing in the vestibule for some reason. Okay, I thought I'd give you an update on our journey. Firstly, don't try to use that door. Secondly, we're about 41 minutes delayed. We're going to be getting into Plymouth at around about 2027, at least according to real-time trains. According to the guard, I spoke to her, she said we're doing it 2024. And this is important because the GWR connection leaves at 2029. So, according to real-time trains, we'll have 2 minutes to make the connection. What it does mean though is if there is any further delay, I'm going to miss that unless they hold it. I did ask the guard about holding it and he said, oh yeah, they'll probably hold it. Like, probably isn't going to cut it. It would be nice if you said, oh yeah, I can see if we can do that for you, rather than, oh, I don't know. Anyway. It's time to check out the Wi-Fi speeds. As usual, I tested this in multiple locations, and on such a long journey I tested it in 8 locations, and these are just some of the results. As you can see, it's very slow, but this is kind of on a par with other trains I've taken in the series, so there's literally nothing special there. However, for some reason, I struggled to get a decent mobile phone signal throughout the entire journey. I think there's something about these Voyager trains that deadens the phone signal somehow, and so Wi-Fi is kind of a bit more essential on these trains than another type of train.
Good evening, just so you are aware, we are arriving here on platform number 6, right adjacent from the Penzance service on platform number 5, okay? Hopefully they are holding this train if we are being brought in alongside them.
Well, that is certainly good news, because I need to get that train. Well, but of course, first class is down the other end of the train.
I did not know if it was going to wait or not.
Never mind.
The train's there.
Cool, thanks. We pulled into Plymouth at exactly 2029, and thankfully the GWR train did wait for our arrival, and so I was able to get on board quite quickly. And we're on the Penzance train.
Welcome aboard this Great Western Railway service to Penzance.
So I made the connection. Thankfully they put the other train directly alongside. Cross platform easy. Already been served a drink and some crisps. Something we were not even offered when we got beyond Bristol on the previous train, so I'm going to say GWR wins this trip already. As we're approaching journey's end, let's sum up, shall we? What did I think of CrossCountry? They're kind of middling. Like, the seat was okay. It wasn't as wide as it should be, really. The food offerings were just a bit mediocre, and for a journey of that length you need proper food. Like, all of their menu items were basically carbs. It was crisps and biscuits and sandwiches and cake. Everything was carb. Like, put some salad in there or something would be great. What did I think of the Voyager? I mean, I thought it was alright, but then I came here and I was like, actually no, this is better. Yeah, so they need to catch up, I feel. I know there's issues and politics around the CrossCountry franchise and the trains they have. I'm not going to get into that now. Feel free to debate that down in the comments. But yeah, I just feel like they are being left behind. And especially for a long distance carrier, they really need some better trains, better service. But how much does it cost? Well, anytime single in standard class is £306.70. In first class is £450. So you're paying an extra 150-ish, or 144 roughly, to travel in first. There aren't much in the way of advanced tickets available. The cheapest I found in standard was £278.30, and in first was £369.60. So the uplift on advance isn't as pronounced, so maybe try for that. Although if you do split ticketing, you can, I have found standard class for £173. Is that worth it? For a journey of that length, if you want to do it as a bucket list item, yeah, I would say it's worth it, because obviously I had disruption on the line today, but also it was just extremely busy in general anyway, especially when we reached like Leeds and Sheffield and Birmingham. It got very busy there, and so I feel like if you were in standard class you would get crowded quite a lot and it probably wouldn't be quite as enjoyable. But here's the kicker. Obviously flying is much quicker than a train, but also in this case it's so much cheaper. Loganair do a direct flight from Aberdeen to Newquay. It has a stop in Manchester, so it takes about 3 hours. If you book that a few months out, you can get a ticket for around about £100, and even booking just a few days out, £283. That's only £5 more than the cheapest advanced single that I found. Now obviously trains are better for the environment, there's less CO2 produced per person, but if time is important to you, why would you take the train? Why wouldn't you fly? But I think as a bucket list experience, yeah. But unfortunately, as you can tell, based on where I am right now, this punctuality rate isn't that great. I mean, to be honest, I've only got 9 days worth of data, and it only made it the full distance on 2 out of those 9 days. That's a success rate of 22%. I wonder if that makes it not only the longest train in Britain, but also the most unreliable train in Britain. Something to think about. So what would I rate CrossCountry First Class out of 10? Well, although I was kept sufficiently fed and watered, I would like to see a wider variety of snacks on offer, and also a more consistent service throughout the entire journey. One other thing that I didn't even consider at the time was that they don't do complimentary alcohol, which is something that most other long distance operators do offer in some form. So I kind of feel like they've missed something here. So on balance, based on this one journey, I'll give them a 6 out of 10, which brings them level with whole trains on our leaderboard. Goodbye, other first class.
This is Penzance.
Oh no. Okay. So that was CrossCountry Trains. Kind of. Oh wow. It smells really badly of sewage around here. Oh god, that was terrible. Blech. Anyway, that was a failed attempt at taking the longest train in Britain. If you want to do it yourself, good luck with it, because you may need it. Anyway, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that other YouTube stuff, ring bells and all this stuff that you're supposed to say and do. And I'll see you again next time.